Well, it's a young girl, 10 years old, and we have seen her before in our Underdog show. She's from England, and I think since last time we talked about her, it should have been about a year ago now. She has gained a lot of rating points. She is now 2200. Her name is Bodhana Sivanandan. Um, she's playing in the European Club Cup against a former world champion, and it's a really special game. So that's
Yeah,
what we're going to talk about.
Bodhana Sivanandan still remains an underdog, but it is going down the chances of her being the underdog every couple of months.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's why we still have to use the opportunity to cover it
Exactly.
in the show.
Perfect. Yeah, and I heard about this game. I didn't watch it yet, so I'm very, very curious about it. So looking forward to this.
Let's have a look. She's playing with white against Mariya Muzychuk. It starts with one e4, and we have a Sicilian.
By the way, great person, Maria. I had a very nice and long conversation with her. Absolute wonderful person.
Great to hear. So knight f3, d6, bishop b5. Solid move.
Solid move.
97. A solid move for a teenager, yeah. Well, let's have a look. The game is not as solid as you would predict from this line. 97, castling, a6, bishop exchanges itself for the knight, bishop recaptures. And white is opening up the center to accelerate her development. And the queen comes out to d4. So in a way, it's no longer looking like a solid line. It's more like an open Sicilian, same structure where the c pawn has been exchanged for the d pawn. Queen is well placed. Knight f6, bishop comes out to g5. And black played e6. Now, in most of the Sicilians, if you compare it with a real open Sicilian, the knight is already on c3, which is usually not such a great spot for the knight because the squares b5 and d5 they have been covered by a black pawn.
Mhm.
So the knight chooses a different route to get into the game. Knight bd2.
Hmm.
The knight is on its way to c4 to hit that pawn on d6. Bishop c6 played, and anyway, the move knight c4 on the board. And I think this opening choice it caught Muzychuk by surprise. She started to think here a bit. It has been seen in earlier games, this line. It's not completely new. White has a simple plan of increasing the pressure against that pawn, and black has to decide what kind of setup to aim for. And well, probably the best move here to play is to grab that pawn on e4.
It looks very dangerous, to be honest.
It does. It does. And the trick is that after this move, feels like the bishop is a bit loose. So you eliminate a defender of the bishop. Bishop takes knight, queen takes. You can win a piece, but not for long because black regains it by playing d5.
Ah.
And well, that is something you would have to know as black. After queen goes away, you take the pawn on c4. Um, Actually, the position it's more or less even, and I think that Bodhana was probably still in their preparation and ready to play such a sort of equalish type of position
Mhm.
without too much risk. Um, then I'm trying to place myself in the shoes of Muzychuk, like what does she want? She doesn't want to equalize against somebody much lower rated, against a little girl. She wants to play for wins. So she doesn't go for this sequence of simplifications, but instead she played here the move bishop e7, which is fine as well. But after bishop takes f6, you cannot really take back with the bishop as
Oh,
it's the pawn on
the
d6. So you
check.
better take back with a pawn. And this is a very interesting structure you often get to see in different type of Sicilians, especially in the classical variation. So we have this battle of bishop pair versus white's knights. And how should we evaluate this pawn block? What do you think? Do you like white or black here?
Yeah,
What's your opinion?
thank you. I'm very glad you're asking this question right now because I was thinking that I definitely prefer black. I love the open file on G.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably my amateur mind, though, so I
Mm-hmm.
have to be honest with that. But immediately, I'd love to play my rook to g8 and try to attack.
Mm-hmm.
It might take a bit too long, and maybe, as I said, it's my amateur mind because there's just simply not enough pieces. It's not like this game where there is a knight, where it's just close. So an attack is actually, the more I look at it and the more I'm thinking about it while I'm talking, there is not a big attack actually. So
If
still,
you if you if you decide to put your rook on g8, have you thought about what to do with your king? Would you keep the king in the center? Or...
I'd keep him in the center. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So keeping the rooks disconnected, yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah. And so probably there is. It might be equal after all, this position, and all parts have some advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah, but the position is full of play, and it's a position where both sides have their chances. I would say that White's king is a bit safer
Yeah.
than Black's. White's pieces are a bit more active, but let's say long term speaking, if for instance queens would be exchanged, for instance, then I would definitely take Black because of the bishop pair and the strong pawn center.
Mhm.
But before that happens, a lot of things are gonna happen. White played here Rook 81. I think a very sensible move to increase the pressure. And how are you gonna defend the pawn? That's not that simple.
That's also what I thought. Like, because yeah, exactly after move rook d1, I personally only saw moving the pawn forward, which is really wrecking up the pawn structure of black. There must be a bit better way, but I don't see.
Yeah, it is actually possible to play b5 instead of d5.
I
What the
see.
that now if White's gonna take, everything will be exchanged on d6, and at the end the pawn on e4 is still hanging, and that would be slightly better for Black, I would say.
Huh.
Um, so after b5, the knight got a move. The knight went to e3. So for now, Black has managed to take away that threat against the pawn on d6. Black continues with rook g8. Your move, Arne.
Finally, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a nice idea. It's not such an amateurish move at all. Um, so I think not that simple. What is White gonna do with her knights? The knights are standing sort of okay, but doesn't look like you can easily go forward. And I think the next move by Bodhana, King H1, it's in a way understandable, but it's also a bit slow. King H1, Black goes Queen C7, and White plays Rook FE1. This is an interesting moment because what do you think? What's the idea of this move, Rook FE1?
Apparently, yeah, but I'd never ever thought about this idea, but maybe getting the knight to f1 and then to g3.
No, 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 don't do that. It is actually, it's not too bad, but I'm pretty sure that is not what Bodhana had been thinking about here. It's like
Oh, I love that. Don't do that.
no, no.
Okay.
Look forward. Look forward.
So,
Don't words. Yeah.
is it eventually, maybe, perhaps, the idea of getting the knight to d5?
Yeah. That's what the Sicilian player is always thinking about.
Wow.
So, look, now there are too many pieces still on the e file, but you're eyeing the king on e8. And what you would like to do usually is play a move like knight e5 with the intention of opening up the e file and try to make use of the pin. Maybe the pawn on f6 could be taken at some point. It's not that obvious yet, and Black can do a
Hmm.
lot of things here still, but you don't really want to go backwards. You want to try to open the files for your major pieces and exploit the king being stuck in the center.
My
Yeah, so sorry for criticizing your move.
Don't worry at all. It's like super
Yeah,
untypical. This is why I probably was considering that because I thought like, nah, she cannot play that aggressive. Normally D5 is absolutely my move, and
yeah.
F1 is a move I would never ever play in my life. And this is probably why I thought
I
like,
asked you in the wrong moment. Yeah. Well, anyway, we are already at this point at probably the critical moment in the game, strangely enough, because Muzychuk played a very understandable move, trying to deal with potential threat of knight e5. but probably it's a mistake. And um, she decided to castle here, um, which deals with the threat of 95, but the king is probably not that safe on this side of the board, as you're no longer having your c pawn. The pawn from b7 has moved already as well, so it's quite problematic having the king on the queen side. What is interesting, and this is very difficult to see, but apparently the best move. Maybe you want to make a guess here for black. Or you're afraid now, yeah, to mention
No,
it.
no, I'll give it a shot. For you at home, of course, this is your opportunity to think a little bit with us and also give your own opinion to a move, which would be a good one here. I'm just trying to delay the inevitable. Um, is it? No, it cannot be. I'm thought about King f8, but it's even worse because the bishop will get even worse like this. And to,
Might be possible, but instead, what you need to do here is think about how to activate your bishops, and you need to open up the position for those pieces, which feels counterintuitive with your king being in the center here
yeah,
still.
yeah. But how to get this bishop out? I mean, bishop f8 is like a bit
Bishop
too
f8
weird.
hangs the
Yeah,
pawn
yeah,
on
exactly.
f6. Yeah.
So, no, I don't know. We have to.
Look at this. I'm not sure many people would have played this move. It's f5. And you feel like black is voluntarily opening up that e.
Wow.
The trick is, look at this. If you take, you're not
Oh, it's
you're not going to take back.
e5.
Sorry, which move?
E5.
No.
Wait, what? It's
What
not
can black do
e5.
here? What can black do here?
Oh, we can just take the knight.
Almost, almost.
Oh my God, I'm so horrible today. What
You
can?
better start with which move?
Wait, I don't see it. Oh, knight, queen b7.
Queen b7 with the
Okay.
idea to take on f3. And then you see that the king is actually quite badly placed there in the corner.
Huh.
And it's quite difficult to keep the knight supported. There are some long variations in which white would have to work hard to maintain some sort of playable position. I can quickly show it, like pawn takes, pawn takes. Apparently, well, if you play queen f4, I'm going to castle queenside, and then rook will come to f8, and it's black who's launching an attack.
Worse.
So that queen f4 move is just really, really bad. Instead, the best move is rook g1, so that after bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, it's not mate because you can interfere here still with a knight.
Oh gosh.
But this is a total mess. Anything can happen, but black is in okay shape here.
If you calculate a position like this in your head, aren't you like in your head scared that you're missing something or that because it looks so dangerous, right?
It looks dangerous. On the other hand, white also has to be very careful. With a move like queen b7, you do put a lot of pressure on the diagonal. And I think the main problem is that white simply doesn't have sufficient resources to deal with it. But it's a difficult idea. And I think the main problem is it's not to calculate here, but it's
I
to convince yourself to look at the move f5 seriously.
Yes, okay. I was thinking about one last move after queen b7.
Yeah.
Knight g4 doesn't work because
Knight g4, interesting idea, but my
it's too
guess,
slow. It's too slow. You take the knight and there's
well, you can take on f3,
yeah,
obviously.
exactly.
Yeah. Sorry, for some reason I didn't see it, but
Yeah,
the that
because
you,
I think I forgot how to play chess. My God.
yeah, we both did. Don't worry. Well, so interesting moment. Black didn't grab the chance here. Instead, castled queenside, and here you can see the instinct of a future world champion. Watch my words. Just
Oh.
she just goes for some action here with the move c4. This has nothing to do
Proper.
with calculation. It's just about trying to remove the remaining pawns and bring the pieces over there. I think if I would face this move c4, I would feel very nervous as black as
Yeah.
well. Um, Black tried to keep the position closed by advancing the pawn to b4, which is apparently not a good move. But to be honest, I felt it's quite a human reaction
Yeah,
here.
I also would have done the same probably.
What do you think? How would you continue with white?
Hmm. My first intuition was c5, but that doesn't help. C5 takes queen c4 was the idea, but then the bishop goes to b5, and
Yeah,
I
black sort
really don't know what I'm
consolidates.
doing here
Yeah.
today.
Mhm.
Mm,
Keep it simple.
oh, so what about okay, keep it simple is not going into this
Sorry,
direction,
sorry. Yeah, maybe I should
but
not have.
what about knight d5 now?
Exactly. Well, that's the standard move in all those positions, right? So if you do take with a pawn, you take back with
C pawn.
c pawn this time. In other cases, with the king on e8, you usually take with the e pawn. Here, you're hitting the bishop, and next move there's going to be a rook coming to the c file. So white's going to regain material. I think 95 is the easiest move. Was not played by Bodhana. I don't know what
Oh,
went through her mind. On the other hand, the move she played, there's also something to say for it. She played a3 with the idea of removing
uh-huh.
the b pawn. Let's have a look. Queen b7 was played to defend the pawn, but also with the idea that after a b4 you might take the pawn on e4, and black gets that sort of play you're looking for. Um, so rather than taking, white better defends this pawn on e4 by dropping back with the knight to d2. Um, Again, various options. I think at some point black has to try a move like f5. I mean, if you set up your queen and bishop on the same diagonal, I think you need to try to generate some play there. So that's probably what I would have done. Instead, Maria played here b3, keeping the b file closed. But there follows rook c1. And you can understand the idea of Bodhana. She is preparing that move 95 anyway, trying to use that c file with the rook.
There's even more options with rooks to going to c3.
Well, that's actually also what's going to happen.
Okay.
So f5 was played, looking for some action on this diagonal. Of course, white is never going to take on f5 as it hangs the pawn on g2. 95 played anyway. That's the way to deal with the opponent's pressure. If you take the knight, there's cd5, and the bishop is going to be lost. So the knight is untouchable. Bishop g5 played instead, adding some pressure here. But now, as you predicted, rook is coming to c3. Very nice and simple move. And you see that the pawn on b3 is just simply too weak. Black captured the knight on d2. You take back with the queen, and still there's nothing you can really do about that knight on d5. Pawn,
Horrible position for black. It must be
yeah,
so hard to defend now.
yeah, it's like a free attack. That's what I usually call such positions. It's like you haven't really sacrificed material, and the black king. It's even though there are still some pieces. There are not many pawns
Yeah.
of any eight to the black king. This is an interesting moment, by the way, Arne. After fe4, what do you think? What would you play now as white?
Yeah, I'm thinking for a little bit. I would still try to keep up the pressure. I mean, Queen e3 is like looks very, very straightforward to me.
With the idea too?
There's two ideas. One is to take the pawn on b3, but the other one is to maybe infest the eighth and seventh and sixth row with the knight on b6 or something,
Yeah.
and even
Very nice
worse.
move. Very nice idea. This was actually played. And especially when a rook lands on b3, I think the threats they become really difficult to meet. The queen would have to move. You might infiltrate with your queen on b6 or with a knight, depending on what black exactly is going to do. So Muzychuk took on d5. Pawn takes. So this is a check. The king cannot go to the b file because that loses the queen. King d7 played. What would you play now? In this major pieces only. Well, usually you say major pieces only endgame, but I wouldn't call this an endgame for some reason. This looks like a mating attack.
It does. What could work? I'm thinking of something clever again, but I don't know how well it is working. So
What are the
to
weak
mind
points
to
in black's
mind
position?
comes rook c6 with the idea of rook b6 and rook c1.
Not bad. I mean, similar ideas we will see in the game.
Okay.
But before determining the move, try to think about what is the main weaknesses, or what are the main weaknesses here in black's position.
It's definitely the king
King,
and the
yeah.
pawn on b3. So the other option is just taking on b3, queen a7 check, maybe, if the queen is
Well,
moving
the
away.
problem with that is that if you take here, queen takes d5,
Yeah.
if you go queen a7, I
Yeah.
think the king is just gonna run back to the center.
And rook b7 doesn't help?
It's a good question. Is this gonna work? So there, the threat is to give a check, take on f7 and
Yeah.
mate.
Yeah. So I see a counter, a nice one maybe. Queen g5.
Queen g5 could be a reasonable move when you're defending this mating threat and you're threatening mate yourself. What I don't like about your action is that you're decentralizing your strongest pieces.
Okay.
And in the position we are in right now, white is much better because the pieces are doing quite well in the center, and you can attack the black king from different angles.
Okay. So what other
There,
option do we have here?
and so there's actually another weakness in black's position.
I need to find it. So is it the center? So it would be... But after queen takes, that's not very convincing. Ah, okay. I think you pointed with the mouse, right? So is it...
Did I? It was unintentionally.
Is it queen f4?
Sorry, then it was definitely not my intention at all. Yeah. So yeah, queen f4 is a nice move as you're setting up a simple threat. Black went back with her king to e8.
Yeah, it was actually a mate threat. My gosh.
So and now you take with the queen on e4.
Yeah, now you can take easily.
And the thing is that with the king on e8, queen takes d5 is not an option. You take with the queen, and the pawn on e6 is pinned. Rook g6 was played. Also defending against queen takes h7 as an idea, and the rook is supporting the pawn. And well, maybe it's not that simple to generate an immediate threat against the king, but I think it's very difficult for black to hold the position together now. And I really think that Bodhana played very nice move here with queen f3. She vacates the e file for the rook. The pawn on e6 is still pinned, and you're pressurizing the pawn on b3 as well. Rook b8 therefore played to avoid the loss of another pawn. How do you continue now? Keep going.
Yeah. But I don't see... So taking on e6 doesn't really work.
The problem is that it leads to an endgame after the exchange of queens.
Yeah.
You have an intermediate check winning a pawn. But the endgame is not that simple.
That's what
there
I
are winning
thought,
chances,
yeah.
but considering the attack you have, you would never seriously consider playing
No,
such.
right? Exactly. So, what else can we do here? Okay, what about... No, that doesn't work either. Whoops. Well, we always have to be also a tiny little bit careful to not just leave the pawn on d5 unattended, because the queen, once the queen has the open file on the g file, this is checkmate. So how to deal with this in the best way? Is it... No, that doesn't work either. So I'm thinking about queen f5, but it doesn't really
Interesting.
threaten
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. Instead, Bodhana found a move to attack an unprotected pawn, which
Queen
is making a lot of sense.
f4? No.
No, because if you move the queen, you got to reckon with queen takes d5
Yeah,
idea.
exactly. This is what I mean. So
Look,
queen h5 is still working. Okay.
Queen h5 is a good move, and probably there's more than one good move.
Yeah.
But rook c6, it's like aesthetically, I like it
Oh,
very
the one
much
I had
because
earlier in mind.
yeah, you had the idea, but at the wrong moment.
Yes.
Here it is. It's pretty strong. You're not only attacking the pawn on d6, but the queen on b7. It feels like it's a bit out of play now.
Yeah.
Probably black needs to bring the queen back to the center, something like queen e7. But instead, they're followed e5, which is in a way understandable to take away that pressure against the pawn on e6, and the rook on g6 now helps out defending the pawn. But there's a very clear drawback to this move, and white can uh, seize the initiative. I mean, white has already the initiative, but
Yeah.
you can um, intensify the pressure now.
So now I would go queen f5.
Not bad, but I would like to set up a stronger threat.
Even stronger.
Use all your pieces, Arne.
Yeah, but how to get my rook c1?
Rook e c1 with the idea.
Rook c7.
Rook c7, attacking the queen, threatening
Yeah.
mate.
Why didn't I see that again? So simple.
In a way, it's always interesting. The rook was needed on the e-file, trying to
Yeah.
attack the king there, but now the e-file has been closed. There's no longer any need to keep the rook there. So how to deal with the threat of rook c7? Black played king d8. So many king moves this game. And white continues with finding nice little ideas to tickle the opponent. Queen h3,
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. Nice.
nice move. h6, queen h4.
Okay.
This is an annoying check. What I should point out is that after a move like queen e7, what do we play now? Give you 2
Rook
seconds.
c8.
Yeah, okay, very good. Take. And if the king takes, the queen will be captured. So that is winning. And therefore, you better put the king on d7. But now we can set up a new threat with our queen. Can you see how?
Yeah, I wonder if it's working. It's not working what I'm thinking, I guess. So I thought about rook c7, blah, 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 and then the queen goes to e7, but I'm not winning a rook back with this, unfortunately.
In winning positions, as a rule of thumb, you better don't simplify into
Oh,
positions with material imbalances.
it's so easy. It's queen a4.
Queen a4 is a good move,
Oh, it's
but
not the right one.
I don't know actually, but it was not played in the game. I think the move played by Bodhana, it's in a way very similar.
Queen c4?
Queen c4 with the threat
Okay.
of rook c7. Queen b5 played, offering the exchange of queens. No way.
Yeah.
Rook c7 check. King e8.
Oh, that's mate already. No, it's not. There's still an escape. Still an escape. How to do this? Queen h4?
You go back all the way to h4.
My
Yeah.
God, this back and forth with the queen is so crazy. This pattern happened like 3 or 4 times already in this game.
But it's amazing. Yeah, but this is very typical for positions with major pieces. They can easily switch from one side to another. Queen e7, you cannot run away because f7 will be captured as well. So black got to deal with a mating threat, played f6, and now it becomes easier. What would you play here?
Well, queen h3 looks quite correct now again.
Probably a good move. Was not played. Doesn't mean that it's a bad move at all, but what else can you do?
Queen h5.
Queen h5, pinning the rook.
Yeah.
What should black do?
Queen d3 is the only move I can see.
Only move, yeah?
And now, is it just rook d1? Doesn't help. No, wait. queen can still move quite nicely on those spots. What to do here? Interesting.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. So, rook g7.
Rook g7. The rook is pinned, so you just have
Gosh.
to attack it one more time. But it's nice, yeah? You're combining all sorts of tactics with
over
picking
already.
threads. And this time, well, I don't see any longer a move to avoid loss of material. The rook on g6 will be gone. So that's the moment Muzychuk resigned.
Rightfully so.
Not bad, yeah, for 10 years old. Such a game.
Unbelievable. And yeah, I don't know. It just probably hurts too when you are a grandmaster who plays for so many years and then there is a 10-year-old. Okay, maybe it doesn't hurt that much because there are so many young superstars, but still, it's rough. My goodness.
You'll never get used to the feeling losing
No,
against the kid,
no.
right? So
Probably not. Probably not. Robert, thank you so much. Very, very entertaining game. We see each other soon enough for the next Underdog.
see you soon. Thank you.